Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah. In this video, I'm showing you how to make these beautiful slot together Easter egg tree decorations. They're really nice and have beautiful egg shape, and all three of these designs are free to download. We've got bunnies and chicks, some little flowers there, and then my favourite, this gorgeous daffodil design. I've also included a blank template so that you can add your own patterns and decorations to the insides. Let's find out where to get the files. You can download the free cutting file for this project at craftwithsarah.com/free-svgs or follow the link in the description of this video to go straight to the download page. The download comes in a zip folder and you need to unzip this before you can upload the files into Cricut Design Space. Once you've downloaded and unzipped the folder, it's time to get the SVG files into Cricut Design Space. Open up Design Space and start a new project, and then go into Upload over on the left, and then Upload Image. You can then either click Browse to find the files on your computer, or drag and drop them in. Make sure you choose the unzipped version of the download folder, and then within there are your 4 different templates. There's a blank one which doesn't have any decorations in the side. There is a bunny and chick design, daffodils, and spring flowers. For this tutorial, I'm going to show you the bunnies and chicks design. However, before we do that, I just want to mention for the blank template, this is so that you can add your own pictures into the sides of the eggs. If you're not sure how to do that, then check out the description of this video and I'll link to a tutorial I did last Christmas when we did the slot together ornaments, because that also had a blank template where you can add your own pictures into the side of that, and it works in exactly the same way. So you'll be able to follow that tutorial to learn how to customize these Easter eggs. But let's go into these bunnies and chicks, and then within there you've got 3 different file formats. The one to choose for Cricut Design Space is the one which starts SVG in the file name. Click and drag that in, and this is what it will look like. Press Upload, and then it will appear in your recent uploads. Click it to get the green border, and then press Add to Canvas. It will load in at the correct size, so you don't need to change anything there. You see this one's loaded in at 10.45 inches wide and 10.865 inches tall. To see the size of the egg this will make, you can click on one of the individual eggs in the Layers panel. So you can see this here is 3.5, just over 3.5 inches tall, and that's the size your egg will be when it's made, although of course you'll have a little bit of extra height on the top there for the hanging bit to thread your ribbon. If you want to make it bigger or smaller, then you can click to select everything, make sure your padlock icon is closed, and then either type in the width or the height, or you can drag to make it bigger or smaller. I don't recommend going too much smaller as it will get pretty tricky to put together. I'll just undo that to get my original size back. Now there's nothing actually that you need to change in Design Space. This project is entirely ready for you to cut out. However, there are a few things you might want to be aware of. These pieces down here, these little blue bits, are designed to go on the inside of the side panels so that you can see a colour going through. If you're planning on adding a tea light or fairy lights inside your egg, you might want to cut these bits out of vellum or tracing paper or greaseproof paper, parchment paper, something like that that's kind of translucent. That way you'll be able to see the glow beautifully from your tea light. But I'm going to do mine from 2 different colours of card. If you want to change the colours in Design Space, you can do that. So let's click on one of my eggs. Let's say I wanted to make a yellow egg instead. I'll choose here and go yellow. And then to change everything else in one go, press Colour Sync at the top of the Layers panel. This changes the layers, so now it's split by colour. If I close these up, I can now drag my entire red into the yellow, and everything changes in one go. So that's just a really nice quick way to change all the colours easily. But I will do red, so we'll undo, and then I'm going to click Make. This will separate out the different colours. You can change the paper size if you want to in here. My machine is set to the Cricut Joy Extra at the moment, which is why my mat looks small. I'll just change that one so that it's a bit more like what you're used to looking at when you see my videos. So I've changed it to the Maker. Now you get that 12 by 12 mat. So I can change my paper size in here down to A4, and you can do the same on the other one. And then to help save space, you can click and drag to move things about. Just make sure when you're doing this that nothing overlaps, otherwise it won't cut out properly. So I can put that in the middle of there and that will work just fine. When you're happy with how everything's looking in Design Space, press continue to connect to your Cricut machine, get everything cut out from cardstock, and then we'll see how to put together our 3D slot together Easter eggs. If you'd like even more egg designs, then I've got some for you on my Cricut Access profile. These are a little bit different to the ones on my website because these ones are exclusive to Cricut owners because they're made from within Design Space, and also you will need the Cricut Access subscription to be able to cut them for free. To find my profile, you can either click the link in the description of this video or open up Cricut Design Space, and then from the home page, use the search at the top and type in Craft with Sarah with a space between each word. Hit enter on your keyboard and then scroll down the bottom until you get to community members, and then you should see my profile here. If you haven't already, it will be a green follow button, kind of similar to these ones, and I'd really appreciate it if you could give me a follow if you aren't already. But then you can click to see my profile, and then click Shared Projects about halfway down the page, and this is where all the Easter eggs will be. There aren't any there at the moment because at the time of recording, it's a little bit early to be sharing Easter egg decorations, but by the time you're watching this, if you go to my profile, you will be able to find lots of different egg templates on here. So I hope you enjoy all of those different designs. Here are the pieces of my egg cut out. You can see all the different bits of cardstock, and then I've also got my 6 segments to go in the side. And these consist of the one with the pattern and then the solid colour to go in behind. I've already stuck 5 of these together just to make things a bit quicker, so you can see I've got the colour showing through on those, but I'll show you how to do it for the last one. I like to do all the sticking first because then, whilst we're putting the rest of the egg together, the glue can get really nice and dry. So I am going to just add some glue. This is the back of the piece of card. For this particular design, it's actually symmetrical, so it doesn't really matter. But just check that you are putting the glue on the back. And then for these shapes, it is a little bit thinner on one side than the other, so make sure that the thin side goes at the top and the thicker side goes at the bottom. So I'll put that on the glue. It sits on there nicely. You've got a little gap around the edge to give you a bit of wiggle room for lining it up, and then it just sits there, and there is my little side. Okay, so that's those done. We can start assembling the main egg. Get your 3 structure pieces and put them in this order. Number 1 is the piece that has the hanging circle on the top. Number 2 is the piece that has a slit on the top bit here and the bottom bit here. It's a bit hard to see. Oh, actually, that's better. You can see better. So it's got 2 little slits there and there. And then the third piece is the one that's just got 1 slit here and here. I'll take these first 2 bits to start. Hold the piece with the circle on the top. And then your piece that's got the double slits, slide it in at the top and slide those 2 slits over one another. And then carefully feed it through until the 2 slits overlap at the bottom. And mine isn't sliding into place. There we go. They should slide into place. Then you end up with this kind of shape. Here we go. And it will fold flat. Take your third piece and go slit over the top. This is always really hard to do on video. And then very carefully pull it through, trying not to bend the card at all until the slot goes over the bottom. Then you end up with your 6-sided egg, and it will still go flat. All right, we need to add some stability to this with our 2 circle pieces. And I'll start with the top one, which is the smaller one. So we want to open up the 6 sides. There we go. Open it out. And then slide your circle inside. And then we're going to line it up so that all of these little slits in the side at the top, they're very small, are going to go into the slits in here. And it is a little bit tricky. And you need to do a little bit of fiddling about to get them all in where they're supposed to go. Again, try not to rip the card. I know it's difficult because it is very small, and we're trying to force this card almost into these tiny little slits. Once you've got a couple in, the rest tend to go in a bit easier. You probably can't really see what I'm doing, but it's a bit of a funny angle to try and show. I'm just moving the circle up a little bit at a time, and then those little gaps and tabs will all slot into each other. So now that's held self-contained in there. It should be flat along the top. And now we're going to do the same thing with the little tabs on the bottom with the bigger circle. So slide that one in. And wiggle it round until they start going in. It's really hard to show this, what I'm doing. Right, that one is now in. If I turn it upside down, you can see it there. It's nice and flat again here on the base. And this is now ready to add the sides in. They do come together really quite quickly. If the egg that you're making has got different sides, lay them out in order. So for this one, we're going to alternate the chicks and the bunnies. Start with a bunny. Just give it a slight little gentle, not a bend or a fold, but just a slight inkling in the way that we're about to make it go. Just makes it a little easier. And then the top egg, it's going to go in the hole in one of the sides. And then I'm going to do that bend again. And then slide the bottom egg into the bottom hole. And push it through so that you get the little rectangle bit here going through the top and the bottom. Then it's really nice and secure. And then we just do the same for all of them, making sure we alternate the pattern if necessary on your design. So if you're using thick card, it can be a little bit tricky getting it to bend upwards to fit in the slits. This red card is really thick. So yeah, I just bent it a little bit there. But I don't think it'll notice when it's all done. One way you could prevent that is by using a thinner card for the inside bit. Again, my blue I've got here is also really thick. Okay. And back to the chick. And then there's one hole left for the last chick. The last one can be a little bit tight, but just wiggle it about until it goes in. That one actually went in just fine. Okay. And there is my first egg, all finished and ready for me to add some ribbon to hang it up. I thought I'd also show you the other two designs which are available. So the next one is the flowers. It's a bit hard to see because I've used a white. I've got 2 bits left here, and I just wanted to show on this one that the eggs are big enough to hold a Cadbury cream egg or similar to that inside. So to do that one, when you've got about 2 left to go, you can just slide it in. It'll sit in there perfectly. And then all we need to do is add the other 2 sides. And all finger and thumbs go in. There's one. And then oh, actually, I wasn't paying attention then because I've put the same pattern back to back, but no worries. They just easily slide out again. And then this one, let's put it in the correct place. And there we go, that's the second one. Only this one's got that hidden cream egg inside that you wouldn't even be able to tell because it's really well hidden and secure. So that's a lovely way to give your chocolates this year if you want to do something like that. The third design is this daffodil one. Again, I've done 4 of the sides. I've just got 2 left to show you. And this one's a bit different because it's got more colours on it than the other ones. And I've actually used some foam squares to give the daffodils a little bit of dimension from the rest of the egg. So here are my pieces, and they are very small. So that is something to bear in mind. There we go, I've already stuck my backgrounds on. And then I've got some teeny tiny foam squares, which I will use for all the main flowers. I'll just put one on there, like that. Peel those tops off of the foam squares to release the sticky. And then line up my flowers. There's one. Losing pieces. And 4. And then just for the little bits on top, a dab of glue. There, put the lid back on my glue. These are a little fiddly. Alright, so I want the glue to dry on those before I try and put them in the egg. But there we go, that's what they will look like. And then that's my 3 eggs, all finished. Here we go. So I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make 3D slot together Easter eggs for your decorations, and I love the fact that you can hide some chocolates inside there. You could also put a battery powered tea light or something inside, or some fairy lights if you want them to glow. I've got more 3D slot together Easter designs coming out very soon, so to make sure you don't miss out on them, subscribe to my YouTube channel and maybe drop me a little comment, see if you can guess what's coming out next. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Bye!